We'll go next to Mark Stokes with Reuters.
Well, hi there, Jack.
Hey, Mark.
Another question relating to last week's British Open. Slow play became something of a hot topic there, and I just wondered, from what you observed through your own memorial tournament and other events on the PGA Tour, how much of a problem do you think slow play is, and do you think it could be enforced more strictly?
Well, you know, I was a slow player when I first started, and I had to learn how to keep up and be part of it. I was penalized twice in my career, you know, I think the first time justifiably. The second time I questioned because the two guys I played with I thought were slower than I, and so you know I sort of. But you know, you never think that you're the culprit. But you know, I remember Joe Black came to me when Joe was running the tour years ago, and he said, Jack, he said, I'm running the tour, and he says, it's my objective with all the players to try to make sure that they can know what their shortcomings are as far as being able to keep up in the game. And he said, I've noticed that watching you play, which of course he watched me every week, was that, you know, you would wait until the other player was done with the shot before you prepare for your own shot. And you were on the green, you'd wait until the other players played before you did. And I said, well, Joe, I was trying to be courteous. I didn't want to get in somebody's way. He says, Jack, he says, we don't care how long you stand over a golf ball to hit a shot. It's if you're prepared, you can stand there because nobody's going to stand there for a minute. But you know, he says you can stand over the ball another 4 or 5 seconds if that happens. He says, so I started doing all my preparation before my shot while the other guys were hitting their shots. And of course, obviously, if I was first to play the second shot, you know, then I obviously had to prepare then. But generally speaking, I was not first, so I had the opportunity to prepare for my second shot while they were preparing for theirs. And when I got on the green, I started walking around the green, and I found out that it didn't bother the other players. And you know, do I think? And so I stopped becoming a slow player, and I became a player who managed what his problems were, and managed it so I could fit in with the field. And I think that's what the players have to do. I think that I guess there was a Japanese player got penalized last week, and I don't know whether there was anybody else or not. But you know, when you're taking, I guess he took over 2 minutes to play one shot after being warned. Well, you know, that's most of the American players who play this every week have figured out how a little bit to beat the system, because they know when they need to speed up, and they know how long they have to play. But is slow play a problem in the game of golf? Yes, it's absolutely a problem in the game of golf. But you know, it's not just the players that have caused slow play. It's the difficulty of the golf course. It's the length of the golf course. It's the distance the golf ball goes. You're playing a longer golf course. It takes more time. You're playing more difficult conditions that take more time. And you know, I understand some of those. However, you know, and I go back. Of course, I'm kind of a nut on the main culprit of slow play. To me, is the golf ball, and the distance the golf ball goes. You know, the golf ball. There's nothing wrong with the golf ball. You're just trying to figure out how do you speed up a game, and the game for most games that you watch play in about 3 hours or less. Whether it's baseball, football, basketball, I don't know, soccer, whatever it is, none of them take more than about 3 hours to play. Where golf, used to take 3.5 hours, or you know, even 3 hours. We used to play British Open. We used to play the last 2 rounds in less than 3 hours or less. Today they take, you know, close to 5 hours, and you know, but it's all part of equipment and golf ball. Are you going to change it all? You might change it a little bit, but the longer a golf course is and the more demanding it is, the more time it takes to play it. And the more time it takes to play it, the harder it is on the public to watch, the harder it is to manage, the harder it is for the pros to be role models for the young people watching, who are going to say, I'm going to emulate a pro and copy what he does, and all of a sudden that kid takes 5 hours and 5.5 hours, and it just sort of escalates right through the game. So Should we do more about it? Yeah, we should do more about it, but I think to be reasonable is to figure out why it happens, and I think it stems back, again, as I said, because of the golf ball, to the length of the golf course and the difficulty, because of equipment. And so, if we changed equipment back, which we're not going to do, but if we went back and left the equipment alone, but changed the golf ball, brought it back, you'd play a shorter golf course. You'd not only from the tour standpoint would it be good, but a shorter golf course all through the game would mean less maintenance costs, less cost to play the game, quicker play, less land, less fertilizer, less everything. Which would make the game more economical. I mean, it's a vicious circle, and it's one that the USGA and the R&A are addressing. I wish they would come to a conclusion a little quicker, but I know they are addressing it. And when they come to the conclusion, I hope they do it the proper way that is in the best interest of the game of golf. I mean, they've made other rulings that they feel like. I mean, we've gone through the long putter thing. And the anchoring of a putter, that was done for the best interest of the game of golf. Now, is the golf ball too long for the best interest of the game of golf? That's what they're studying. Now, whatever answer they come to, I'm not sure exactly how they're going to come about it. But the game of golf needs to be played quicker. You're absolutely correct.
Mark, thank you for the question. Jack, thank you. We have a few more questions for you. Jill, next question, please.
We'll go to Barry Sverluga with Washington Post.
Jack, when you started the Memorial, did you have to lean on players to come and play, or did they just kind of line up and were happy for the chance? What kind of input did you have on assembling the field?
I have never asked a player to play in the tournament since day one. The way I always felt it and the way I always selected my golf tournaments was I selected them based on the quality of the tournament, the quality of the golf course, the quality of the competition. And all we tried to do at Muirfield was present the best golf course we could present, make sure that we took care of the players so that they were able to play that golf tournament in the proper conditions and the proper surroundings, and made sure that that we felt like, and they felt like, that it was a significant event to play in and it was good competition. And when you do that, the players will come. And I've never had to ask a player to come to the Memorial Tournament. I'm obviously, I want the players all to come. There's some players who choose not to come, but not very many. Most every year we have 90% or better of the good players there, and we've had a wonderful tournament and a wonderful field, and we sit 2 weeks before the U.S. Open. It's a great time to play golf, and the golf course that they play on is presented similarly to what they're going to find at a U.S. Open. Maybe not quite as difficult. We tried out to do it quite as difficult, but it's all those are things that I look for when I chose my tournaments. I always wanted the best tests I could get. I always wanted it difficult. I always wanted to challenge myself, and I always wanted to learn from it. And I think that's what we tried to do at Muirfield.
Thanks very much.
Sure.
Thank you, Barry.
Our next question comes from T.J. O'Clair with PGA.com.
Hi, Jack. We often hear players talk about how mentally grueling major championships are, and I know there were several times in the 1960s where the Open Championship and the PGA were played in consecutive weeks. Can you just talk about what that was like from a player perspective mentally?
Well, I thought it was tough. I thought that the PGA of America used good common sense when they moved it back. Well, the British Open moved back too. British Open moved back to separate from Wimbledon and get more distance between the U.S. Open and itself. And then the PGA moved from July back to August, which I thought was good common sense also. Yeah, when they were played back-to-back, it was difficult. As I said earlier in this session, that Hogan wasn't able to play the fourth major championship because it was the week after the Open Championship at Carnoustie, and he couldn't physically get back to playing it. So, I think that's that was very difficult on the players, and I think it was difficult in trying to put on a major championship and having it be successful.
Thank you.
Thank you, TJ.
We'll go next to Brian Begane with the Palm Beach Post.
Yes, Jack, there's been a lot of talk this week about Phil and what he accomplished, of course, this past weekend, and maybe how it's changed his status in the world pantheon in history of where he stands in golf. How would you assess that? And the second part of that, with the way he's been playing lately as runner-up at the U.S. Open, the win at the Scottish Open, and now the British Open, is he playing maybe the best he's played that you've seen?
Well, he's obviously playing awfully well, and I would say he would have to be the favorite going into the PGA Championship on record as how he's played. But I think that if you look at the history of the guys that are playing today, only Tiger has won more majors as an active player than Phil. Phil's won, I guess, 5 now. He's won 3 of the 4 majors. Has not won the U.S. Open Championship. Phil is going to go down in history as one of the great players of the game. There's no question about that. There's no argument about Hall of Fame. I think that his ability to see that he needed to adapt himself to the Scottish conditions was much to his credit. Phil has always tried to say, take his game and play his game and put it on a golf course. And that doesn't always work. And here he is into his 40s, and he's finally realizing that driver did not have to come out of the bag. He found a golf club that he could keep it and play with. He found that he is a good enough player, matter of fact, a terrific player, who doesn't need to hit it 10 miles. He can hit it, into the fairway somewhere and play like everybody should want to play and be successful. I give him great kudos for what he's done over the last couple of weeks. I'm very happy for him. I know that for him to go win at the British Open as high as he hits the golf ball, it was a lot like I was. I won at Muirfield, and I was a high ball hitter, and people said, well, Jack will never win, particularly at Muirfield. It's a golf course he can't play. And, I proved them wrong there by being a little smarter than some of the other guys on that particular week. I didn't use a driver very much. We had to use a driver back in those days because the golf ball didn't go as far. But at Muirfield this particular time, these fairways were even much faster than when I won. It was very fast when I won. And so it's I give Phil a tremendous amount of credit, and I think I'm very, very, very proud and happy for him.
Thank you.